can. My name is Steve Wilson. Welcome to Fishburne. Parents, winter athletes, and also the Casanero family. We're going to talk about that in a minute. We've done a long-standing tradition here. We like to recognize athletics is not easy. It's definitely not easy here at Fishburne. So we want to recognize our teams and our athletes, and they deserve recognition. They're good students, they're good athletes, and they represent us well. So definitely want to do that. Before we talk about our winter teams, though, we're going to recognize one of our favorite people. A guy I got to know pretty well. Ben Casanero was a football coach here from 3 years, 22 through 24. And I get some of the credit because I was the first guy to meet him on campus. Ben passed away after a bout with cancer just a few months ago. We tried to have this ceremony for him. We got snowed out, so we're going to do it tonight. And have some of the coaches and some of the players talk. I first met Ben again in summer of 2022. Got an attitude kind of like his granddaughter, I think. He started talking. I thought it was going to be a 20, 30-minute, talk interview, talk sport. We talked for an hour and a half about football, the impact of football in a school, the impact of football on a young man, and how he knew football, but most of all, he wanted to share his love of football with the Fishburne cadets, and he did that very well. So, yeah, anytime you talk to Ben, it wasn't a short conversation. But I tell you, every time you talk to Ben, you felt better after. He was friendly, always encouraging, always asking what he could do. I mean, he was a rare Jim. And every program, every school needs people like that. You guys might not appreciate that yet, but there's a lot of things that have to go on to run a football program, to run a school, to run an athletic program. And Ben made it easy because he would do the little things that nobody wanted to do. He would help out in the equipment room. He would track down jerseys. He would help out, line the field. Whatever needed, he would do it. And I really respected that from him. Just an invaluable person. So, and I know, he had some health problems last fall, so some of you guys that are new to Fishburne didn't get to see him as much. But Coach Goodenough before him and Coach Crable last year just thought the world of him. I think every Monday, when your film sessions, right, guys, a lot of football players in here, he would give Coach Ben the floor. And there was always a message of what? How would you describe that message?
Invigorating.
What? Invigorating. Because it usually was with a lot of passion, a lot of grit. He talked about grit and toughness all the time. And he personified those traits very much. Coach Goodenough could not be here tonight. But I'm going to send you this letter, Marty, because he's an English major. He wrote better than I can speak. He had a really nice letter. I'm just going to say a couple things. Ben was an expert in football. He knew running backs, but he was a true Rhodes Scholar when it came to toughness. Ben would show up with his helmet, put on his helmet, and show the fullback how to block. That was the kind of toughness he brought into it. He led by example, never wavered on his principles around toughness, grit, and playing hard. Again, Ben was tougher than anybody around, but he was incredibly kind, generous with his time and wisdom around the sport of football. He was often the one that the kids turned to when they were feeling down. Ben did not just coach football players. He coached them as young men, pushed them to be their best on and off the field, and gave them incredible time to them. So, sorry. That's nice words, Coach Goodenough. Again, that's unanimous around this school. How much we appreciate it. All right, I'm going to get off. I'm going to have a couple football players come up. I know we had several that wanted to say a word on Coach Ben. All seniors. Senior Matt Worsham, senior Mr. Gilroy, senior Mr. Hey, man. Thank you.
Hey, guys. So I knew Coach Ben for 3 years, played football with him. And one thing I can confidently say, I was just around during football season, so wasn't extremely familiar, but one thing I can confidently say was he brought such a positive energy to the football field. I think the entire football team can agree. When he would come down, when we were finishing practice and talk to the team, it was just such a positive energy. It brought a smile to all our faces. One memory that really stands out to me is the Smith Mountain Lake game. That Wilson said, whenever you were feeling down, you'd go to him. He was just a great father figure, brought a smile to all our faces. So, yeah. So I was the athletic trainer for about 2 years, and I was usually on the sideline waiting for someone to end up needing my attention or an ambulance. And Coach Ben would often be on the sidelines with me. And during that time, I often be sitting there bored, twiddling my thumbs, and Coach Ben would strike up a conversation because he couldn't sit there and not talk to anyone. He always had to talk to me. And one thing I always loved about the man is he always put a smile on my face with some snarky joke or some reference about the football team missing a block. And one of the best memories I got is when I was sitting there, not really fully paying attention. He's like, you know what, Gilroy? You know what this team could do better? And I was like, what would that be? He's like, learn to put someone on their butt. Now, he didn't use that word, but I can't use that here tonight. And I was like, and I wondered how they're going to learn that. He's like, well, you give me that helmet, I'll go out there and do it for him. And that just, to me, always just showed his grit, his toughness. Even, I forgot, how old was he? 74. And he would always be trying to get out there to show one of us how it was done. And I'm going to miss him, and he is in so many good memories from all the years. I'm going to miss him.
Good evening, everyone. I'm honored to be able to share some stories and some things about Coach Ben. He was like a friend to me. He was the first coach I met when I was here. He helped me tremendously in my position, made me want to play football. We were good friends. He was like a father figure to me. I was heartbroken when I found out, but I don't want to be somber about this because he was a great man. He was never somber about anything. He was always in a good mood and always happy. The first time I talked to him, I come back to the sideline. I'm like, Coach Ben, I can't hit anyone without me getting hit harder. He was like, well, Cricky, just go and hit with your head. And, you know, from that point on, 2 concussions later, I'm not too happy that Coach Ben told me that. But it was never a sad or somber moment with him. So I'm happy to celebrate his life and everything that he's accomplished and what he's done for the guys at Fishburne, the Fishburne football players, and the Fishburne family. Thank you.
I met Coach Ben 3 years ago. It was my first year at Fishburne. I started playing football. I didn't know him very well, but one thing he would always do is, even when I wasn't a starter, my favorite thing about him is that he cared. He really cared for everyone on the football team. He'd always talk to you. He wouldn't leave you out on the field. He'd go over, ask you how you're doing. But one thing I owe to him is how tough I am now. I wasn't always a very confident person, but he made me confident more on the football field. He's like, Hudson, you're big, you're strong. Go out there, kill him. They can't stop you. He was the reason why I could go out there and do my best. He always motivated me and everyone else on the football team. I'm very grateful.
Sunday morning, wanted to say something, but it's just a great example of the impact he had on the people here in a short amount of time. So, well said, guys. Ready?
Hello, everyone. I'm Marty Coles, formerly the picture lady at Fishburne Military School, and it's good to be back and see some smiling faces. My father, Coach Ben, I just wanted to kind of take you through briefly his football career. He started when he was 15 years old, paused to start his career in the lumber industry with a high school diploma, mind you. He owned and operated a lumber business for many, many years until his retirement. So really impressive. And then once he got back on the field, he played rugby and football until he was 59 years old. So the boys he coached for 11 years, including you guys, within that career, but he coached boys in high school, including my brother Scott, and there's this picture of him. They ended up playing together in that last year before his football retirement, which was pretty incredible. he pretty much summed up what I was going to say, actually. So my two messages and takeaways from his football career specifically is, yes, use your head, but let's use it metaphorically here. There is no obstacle that's bigger than you. And so when you put your mind and your strength to it, you can get through anything. Not over it, not avoiding it, not around it. So take that with you in everything you do in your life. And then the next thing that I learned is it didn't matter how much time he spent with someone. It's what he prioritized within those connections and within those conversations. So within your life, as you carry through life, just know that you have an impact on every single person that you meet, whether that's 5 seconds or 50 years. So thank you for all giving him the opportunity to coach you guys, because he loved you.
Ben would not have approved to get flowers. We got flowers, but he would have liked, thanks to Linda, the Fishburne colors on these flowers.
All right.
Well, make sure you guys take them.
Okay, I'll walk in. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Castleberry family, you're welcome to stay, or we can have the cadets escort you in the park, up to you.
Oh, and football team, I brought you candy and treats. So.
That's a good recruiting tool. We might get more football players. Say, give our best to Scott. We'll be watching.
Yeah. So,
Cheers, Scott.
thank you all.
Thank you.